When you hear the word Satan, you likely picture a specific threat, a horned ruler of the underworld, plotting rebellion against heaven. He functions as a convenient culprit for almost every human discomfort, from global tragedies down to the private, creeping feelings of doubt and desire. Search the earliest texts of the Hebrew Bible, however, and you will find that a terrifying cosmic monster commanding an army of demons is entirely absent. As Pete Kosseboon details in his book, The Invention of Satan, this figure was assembled slowly over centuries by a society trying to make sense of its trauma. To find his true origin, we have to look past the fire and pitchforks, back to a time when the word itself functioned as a situational job description. Tracing the history of that ancient word reveals the machinery behind the myth, stripping away the terror it has generated for generations. In its original form, the Hebrew noun shatan described a role rather than a character. As this diagram shows, it simply meant an adversary, an opponent, or a physical obstruction. We see this in the story of Balaam. He's a prophet traveling down a dangerous path, driven by divided desires and the lure of political reward. As Balaam pushes forward, an angel of God steps into the pathway with a drawn sword, preventing the prophet from walking into his own ruin. The text uses a specific phrase here. It states that this obedient messenger of God stations himself against Balaam as a Satan. Long before the word described a personification of evil, a Satan could be an agent of divine grace, throwing up a roadblock to save a person from themselves. As Israelite society evolved, they attached a definite article to the word, creating ha-Satan. The generic noun became a formal administrative title, the accuser. This title takes shape in the prophet Zechariah's vision of a divine courtroom. A high priest named Joshua stands trial, wearing stained clothes that represent the impurity of his community. Standing at the priest's right hand is ha-Satan. In this legal setting, he functions as a prosecuting attorney, pointing to the soiled garments as evidence of the priest's guilt. The prosecutor makes his case, but he loses. God rebukes the accusation entirely and orders that the priest be dressed in clean vestments. The accuser has a sanctioned place inside heaven's court, but he does not run it. Bringing a charge is a function, not a final judgment. We see this administrative role again in the book of Job. ha-Satan arrives at a meeting of the divine council to present a report after a routine inspection of the earth. He poses a cynical question. Does Job possess true moral goodness, or does he only love God because God financially protects him? To test this theory, the inspector is granted the ability to cause harm, but he operates under strict legal limits. He can destroy nothing without explicit divine permission. This ancient figure remains bound by divine permission, personifying the cynical suspicion that human goodness is fake. How do a bureaucratic prosecutor and a roadblock angel merge into the Lord of Hell? The answer lies in historical trauma. Ancient communities faced brutal exile and imperial conquests. They needed a way to explain a world that felt organized against them. As the nodes pull together, to explain that trauma, these distinct roles were collapsed into a single cosmic enemy. This merge provided a centralized way to categorize every possible threat, from foreign empires to internal dissent. This newly formed villain absorbed all the terrifying imagery available in the ancient world, eventually taking on the monstrous physical traits of gargoyles and beasts. This symbol remains a tool for projecting communal fear. By filing modern cultural changes under the name of Satan, society continues to treat uncertainty as an organized attack. This consolidation turned the devil into a total explanation. By mapping every doubt, every outsider, and every source of pain to a single demonic origin, the concept became a mechanism to organize attention, telling believers exactly which questions were dangerous and which neighbors were threats. If we remember the devil started as a function, an accusation in a courtroom, we regain perspective. An accusation can be overruled, and fear loses its power the moment we know its history.
Thank you for watching. If something in this resonated with you, then you're already closer than you think. If you're ready to go deeper, there's a link below to my book, The Invention of Satan, A Deep History of Evil, Rebellion, the Devil, and Religious Control. This isn't theory, it's a framework you can actually use. Tap the link below and step into it.